My next guest is quite the talent. He can act, he can sing, he can whistle with 2 fingers. The one and only Adrian Lyles.
What's going on? My name's Adrian Lyles, and I can whistle with 2 fingers. I'm not going to show you, but I can.
See, I told him to say that to confirm the rumors.
Of course.
Because you know the internet is true. Everything is
Everything
true.
that you read.
That's right.
I think that the world would be a lot better if everyone just took exactly what they read online as 100% fact.
Took it for face value and that's it.
It's all true.
And run with it.
Exactly.
I mean, I take it that you do know how to whistle with 2 fingers based on the jersey that you're wearing.
Yeah, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with this, but I'm not going to show anyone, but I'm going to go with it.
Okay. I mean, can you whistle at all? What about
Yes.
just the simple Peter, Bjorn, and John?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
I got you with that.
All right. When was the first time you learned how to whistle?
It was funny. I learned how, it took me so long to learn how to whistle. I wanted to so bad. And my mom helped me learn how to whistle, and she was like, oh my God, you can do it. And when I finally learned how to whistle, it took me probably a year. She was like, don't do it in the house. Don't do it around me, it hurts my ears. And so all of that for nothing. I learned.
Are you one of those people that will walk around and if you're in a good mood, just start whistling?
Absolutely.
So you're the annoying guy that's in the elevator.
I was about to say.
Just got signed to Hollywood Records.
Exactly. I was just about to say, I'll walk around with headphones on and I'll sing. We went somewhere the other day. It wasn't the other day. It was months ago. But one of my managers, Nick, was like, "Oh, dude, you were just singing on the plane." Because they're on the plane. I don't even think about it. He was like, "And you were loud."
What?
I didn't even think I was.
I'm sorry. I would have been hitting that call button.
Yeah, get him out of here.
I'd be like, well, I don't care who you are.
If someone else did it, it would annoy me. But I don't realize I'm doing it when I'm doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's that ingrained in you.
It's that ingrained.
So the story's true. Since 3 years old,
Yes.
Music Man.
Yes, Music Man. I started playing piano when I turned 3. My parents put me in it. My parents put me in it because it does something with your brain and it helps you be better at math and things of that nature. That's what they told me. That was the excuse that I was given.
We have something in common because
Yeah?
that's what my mother told me too.
Look at that, see? So maybe it wasn't a rumor. They're over there looking at me
Are there
now.
Asian genes here that,
Yes.
that are...
I'm Chinese.
Okay, so the other internet rumor that I read is that you can sing in traditional Chinese.
Ooh, yes, but don't ask me to.
Please, bust out some lyrics. Bad guy, how about, let's see, I don't know, pick a song.
I lied. I can't do that at all.
So
I
the
can't do
internet
that at
was
all.
wrong.
The internet was wrong. I don't know what part of the internet is saying that I can sing in traditional
Can you
Chinese.
speak?
No, actually. I was in a Mandarin class for a while when I was really young.
Wow.
But
Same.
other
How
than
many
that,
how many years? How many months?
maybe 2, 3 maybe.
How
But I
old
don't
were
remember.
you?
I haven't retained any of it. I was a baby. I had to be 6 or 5 maybe. It was at some school that I went to, and they had a Mandarin class, and I took it.
I mean, those are valuable skills, honestly.
Absolutely.
Because eventually, as you're going on tour, and we'll talk about that in a minute, eventually China and those Asian countries that speak Mandarin are going to be...
I got to be ready. I got to be prepped. I want to know.
I've seen artists that have had a translator next to them. They've had the whole apps things with Duolingo and trying to
I need to
pick
get on
up.
Duolingo.
Yeah.
Duolingo was a lot of my middle school because I took Spanish. So I need to get back on it. I have a lot of friends that are I want to learn Japanese just randomly. And so all of my friends are on Duolingo right now, and I just need to do it.
And you're not.
I'm not.
Really?
I know.
So just plain old American English.
Just English. Just
Wow.
English.
Get on it, man.
I need to.
Get
I will.
on it. I said you were multi-talented. I take it back. You're
Take it back because
quadruple talented.
That's what it will be when I can. But speaking of tour, when I do get to that place, I want to be able to talk.
Yeah.
And know how to do it.
You touched on middle school. You are quite the pride and joy of Hunt Middle School in
man.
Frisco, Texas.
Oh man.
From what I hear, you basically were grinding away, writing your own music and things like that. You got played on local radio?
Yeah, that's
Who
that's
does
wild.
that?
That's a deep cut. That's crazy. I released my first single in middle school. I was 13, and it was
So when you released, is this SoundCloud?
It was, well, no, we were official, all right? Me, my mom, and my dad, we had the DistroKid running. We had it on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, all that jazz.
Wow.
It was an EP of, I think it was 3 or 4 songs. And when I signed, they were like, yeah, you should probably take that down. I was like, oh. But it was
played on radio, so people
Yeah.
could have recorded it and have that secret recording. And
Well, what's funny is before any music came out, because of High School Musical, there was a fan base there for the music that I was making that was just watching me sing on TikTok or Instagram. Like there was no actual music out, but they were listening to the old stuff when I was 13. So when I took everything off the platform, I got a bunch of mentions on Twitter and a bunch of DMs on Instagram. They're like, where are these songs? Where did they go? And I was like, why are you listening to that? Why are you listening to it?
because the internet sleuths
They do.
are just out and about, they will
They
get
do.
to the bottom of everything.
I'm very grateful for them. I I would rather that than not have that.
Oh, same here. They did half of my research.
No way. That's crazy.
Do you know
The hun-
Sophia
Sophia who?
in 6th grade?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to leave it there.
This is like a
Why
Nardwuar
are you
interview.
covering your ears right
No,
now?
I'm just like, that's crazy.
I don't want to hear about
No,
Sophia.
it's like a Nardwuar interview. That's crazy.
Well, there's only so many years of history with you, so
I guess so,
we
yeah.
have to dig.
19 to.
But let's focus on the radio station business. Like,
Yeah.
were you beating out Olivia in terms of spins and airplay and
Oh,
things? Were you
man.
in the top 5 at 9?
You know, in Dallas, probably also not in Dallas. Olivia was probably outdoing me in Dallas. But no, I mean, we were really, me and my parents, we were grinding out, trying to make stuff happen, you know? Like, we drove, I mean, the people in Texas will know this, but we drove from where we were in Frisco all the way to Waxahachie, which is far, to go and record these songs. And we were just trying to make things happen, you know, playing gigs, releasing songs, doing what we thought was the best thing to do. Because, you know, when you're down there and it's like, my parents are both like, you know, musical people, as in they love music. And my mom did musical theater and she danced, but we're like, we don't know, you know, how to get started, what to do. And so it was a lot of trial and error and figuring things out. And I think we gave it our best for what we were doing. I'm looking at them right now, and my mom's like,
They are intently watching this interview as
Exactly,
we're doing
they're
this,
here.
making sure that you say the right things.
exactly.
What was the catalyst that made you say, you know what, we've hit a ceiling, so to speak, and we're going to take this to the next level and move to LA? And
Oh man, the catalyst was High School Musical, the series. When COVID hit, it shut down a lot of the places that I was gigging at. So a lot of the places that I was playing and singing, I couldn't play and sing at because they were all closed down. And my mom had talked to me about like acting and stuff. And I remember for a while I had turned it down. I was like, I don't want to do that. I've never done that. You know, it's just not, it's not for me. Why would I act? I've never done that before. And long story short, I ended up caving and being like, okay. And I auditioned for an acting agent down in Texas, and I did a monologue and I sang and I got with them and they sent me auditions. And but booking High School Musical was really like the first thing I booked. I mean, I don't want to, like, I did a couple commercials here and there. I did a Ring ad, which people found. I did a Six Flags commercial that never came out. And but High School Musical was like the first thing I had booked, and it was like this huge role, and everything happened all at once. And it was like Olivia was like Driver's License and Deja Vu had just blown up so huge. And I was watching, you know, her and Joshua Bassett and the other people on the show and being like, oh my God, you know, they're doing what I want to be doing. So maybe the avenue to get there doesn't have to be, oh, my song got discovered overnight. Like, maybe this can be another avenue to get there. And moved out to shoot season 3 and got invited back for season 4 and stayed. I met my managers and lawyers and PR and everyone, and we formed this team, and then I signed with Hollywood Records, and now we're here making stuff. Second song just came out.
yeah,
Somewhere to Go. And the first song, Formalize Me, came out like 2 months ago.
yeah.
And we got a third one coming, and now I'm going on tour in January. So
Well, there you go. That's all we need to tell everybody. That's it.
know?
Thanks for coming.
that's it. That's what we do.
That's the Adrian Lyles story.
It is,
But
really.
going to the auditioning process and getting to the point of saying, you know what, yes, Mom, I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
Were you trying to be a serious actor? You seem to have kind of fallen into a role that was a total fit for you.
Well, the thing is, I think the reason it went well was because I never saw it panning out to begin with. Like, it seemed like, music is like all I had ever done. And so it seemed so tangible and like right in front of me. And I was like, oh my God, like music, like that's what I do. But acting was something that I had no idea about. And so I was like, there's no way that'll ever happen, And I remember was playing, okay, the reason that I ended up saying yes to the acting is, so the House of Blues, the venue. So there's the House of Blues, which is this beautiful big venue in Dallas, and then there's like a restaurant room. And I would play the restaurant room very often, and I would play 2-3 hour shows there. And so I remember I was playing one night, and after I finished my set, I had gone to the bathroom and I heard screaming coming from the like venue room. And I went over and it was Ty Verdes, and he was on his like TV tour that had just opened. And I was like, oh my God, I need to do like whatever I can to get to that place, because that's where I want to be and that's what I want to do. And I told my mom, I was like, yeah, all right, like let's try the thing and really go for it. But even throughout the High School Musical auditions, I'll be completely honest, like I was going through it like working hard, of course, my mom helping me with everything and just going through what they had me going through, but I never really saw getting it as a possibility. You know what I'm saying? Like I had my first callback and that was probably the first callback I ever got for anything. And I was like, oh my God, like I have to do it again? Like I don't understand. And every round of auditions, I felt like, no way, like no way, here we are again. And when I got the role, it just didn't even feel real. Like nothing about it felt real. And then I got out there and then everything was real all at once. And it was really crazy, surreal kind of feeling, because like if you told me, I mean, this sound like 4 years ago, that the way that you're gonna get to the record label that you've always been talking about and playing songs and going on tour is acting on a TV show, and a musical theater TV show nonetheless, is like, I'd be like, no way.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't do that. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, and up until that point, it wasn't like you were doing musicals in high school or anything like that, right? You were actually going to a school that was specifically focused on music training.
Well, the school that I went to was a conservatory school. Yeah. So they did music, they did theater, they did like visual arts, and they did dance. And I was there for music. I was there for singing. And like the theater world felt like a different world, you know what I'm saying? And like, I mean, my mom did a lot of musical theater growing up, and so it's been around, but I was just never like a part of that, And so the way that it all came around, I could have never expected it, in any way. And, but it was cool because Olivia Rodrigo, like I said, had just blown so huge, and I was like, oh my God, that girl's doing it. Like, that's crazy. And then, I got to go out and meet her, and she's very sweet. And it's funny, like when I started doing sessions, I actually like DM'd her and I was like, hey, I'm about to do like my first music sessions. I have no idea what I'm doing. And she messaged me back. She was like, just find somebody that you work well with and you have a good time with and it feels natural. And just very sweet. And I felt like, oh my gosh, like all of these things that seemed so far like possible. Like, that's super strange to me.
What was acting like for you, considering that you didn't have that much training or any training at all, so to speak, right?
Terrifying. Like, absolutely. Like, if I could be as, transparent as possible, it was like a really scary experience, especially the first season that I did for them. I mean, the whole time I felt like I was really messing it up, or not. Like, I was surrounded by very talented people that I grew up watching on TV, because I didn't grow up like an actor on TV shows, and like all of these kids, they've been yoked and they're doing it, And so I always felt like, oh my God, like what am I doing here? I feel like,
like how would you go about memorizing lines, understanding?
That was actually the only thing that was easy, because I've just been so used to memorizing song lyrics and stuff like that. So I would just like, learn them, but going and doing it, and like when they call action, being like, here I am, was so foreign. And I was like, I'm messing everything up. The imposter syndrome was crazy. I was like, I just got here and I'm here doing this and it's amazing and I want to do it right. And it was actually Matt Cornett from the show that really calmed my nerves about everything, gave me a great pep talk about how he's like, dude, Like, I promise, like, the nerves are going to get a lot easier to deal with the more that you do it. But like, you know, just take in the moment and appreciate it and do it to the best of your ability. He was like, dude, I've been here for 3 seasons and I get nervous about this place that I am. And so, I don't know, I felt like an imposter for a while. And it just took a little bit of easing in and all of that because, I mean, except for when I was singing. Like, that was the only time where I was like, oh, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
But like, other than that, I was like, you know, and even with season 4, it was a little better, but I was like on set, it's funny because I was locked in. Like, everyone in the cast knows, like, I was like in my chair.
Don't screw up, don't screw up.
You know, and so it was really like, I mean, it's such a fantastic experience and extremely fun. Like, don't get me wrong, but I was nervous. I was nervous for a while. And I mean, the first scene I ever shot, I was singing a cappella for the whole cast and I hadn't even met them yet.
Wow.
And so it was a nerve-wracking experience, but one of the greatest experiences of my life. And it put me here to do this.
Yeah, and I think it's in some way as well transferable, those skills.
Yeah.
To be able to take those, I don't know, scripted moments and then make something out of it.
Right.
And you know, fall back on.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing and singing for so long that I don't really feel nervous when I play and sing, but that was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm like 11 again and I'm singing for the first time. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, no, fantastic.
Do you think you'll do more of that at some point?
I hope so. There's a lot of like roles that I'd love to play. I love screenwriting. I want to do it all. Like, what it really did, and I think the greatest thing that it did was give me an appreciation for everything. So it's like, I want to do the music as best as I can do it, but I want to act as best as I can act, and I want to direct stuff, and I want to write my own like shows and act in them, and write my own movies and act in them, and do all, like, I want to just Childish Gambino, Donald Glover my way through everything and do everything, you know, because everything about it is so cool. It gave me such an appreciation for every kind of art form. And I mean, especially with the acting, I think it worked because I was so nervous and because I wasn't acting trained. That's why it kind of felt so natural, because I mean, the character fortunately wasn't a lot of a reach. Like, I just got to go and play this kind of snarky kid that like didn't want to be where he was. And so I was like, oh, I just get to be a little bit of a jerk and whatever and say these lines how I would just say them normally. And I think that's a lot of the reason why people kind of resonated with it, because I was like, I don't know, I felt raw because I wasn't like, okay, time to use this technique and figure out.
It was almost as if it was custom written for you.
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny because that audition was one of the first auditions I ever read that I was like, it's kind of funny. I like this one. But yeah, I mean, that's the story about how I got here. That was the turning point of everything. And it wasn't that long ago. It was like 3 years ago.
No. Especially during the weird moment in time, which is just so weird to say that like 5 years ago, basically, the whole thing started. And to try to navigate a career, a path to follow your dreams and all that was made that much more difficult.
Right, absolutely. You know, everyone was talking about like, with this time that we're all at home because of COVID, you know, make the best of the situation. But it's like, COVID was the reason auditions were self-tape and I could audition from Texas. Like, I feel like that opportunity wouldn't have come, and I wouldn't have even thought about it if we weren't at home for so long with me and my mom and my dad being like, well, what are we supposed to do now? Everything's closed. Because like, you gotta understand, I mean, when we did the thing earlier, you know, they came in with all the stuff and we set it all up, like that's what it was. Like, it would be me and my mom and my dad showing up places and setting the piano up and setting it, like, and then we'd break it down after. Like, that was our life, our normal, you know? And so when everything shut down, we were like, what do we do? You know?
It's just so awesome that your parents have been there every step of the way.
Absolutely.
You know, supporting you, encouraging you, pushing you as well, because you want to get out of that comfort zone.
Right.
It's quite ironic that you write a bunch of lyrics that say, don't be like your dad, don't be like your mom.
No, that's not talking about mine.
Right.
You know, but
the song Formalize Me.
Yeah, I think that lyric specifically for Formalize Me was, I'd written, there's a whole different version of Formalize Me that's like 1 minute and 30 seconds, and I had it in my head. I was like, this is gonna be an interlude on an album, and I brought it to this producer that I work with. His name's Phil Simmons, and I played it for him. He was like, that's dope, but listen to what I made, and he played me the beat for Formalize Me, and we kind of, the only thing I kept was the word Formalize Me, and then the make me something and make me nothing, just like you always do. That was like all I kept, and then everything else had changed, and the song kind of became this like it wasn't me saying it. I love to write from perspective, and a lot of the time I don't write from my own perspective. And so a lot of what Formalize Me was me arguing back with people trying to formalize me, you know, and people telling me, do this thing and do this thing our way and do this thing the way that we see it, and then me saying, no, I don't want to do that. And I mean, that line specifically is like, you know, don't become what everyone expects of you. Do your own thing. Just be, right. You know, be yourself. And I think that I really wanted to approach everything about the creation of Formalize Me in the same way that it felt right in the lyrics, which felt very conversational. And so the music video feels extremely like storyboarded out and conversational, and a lot of me arguing with myself, and you know, the arrangement for how it's played, the performance for how we do it. Like, I wanted everything to feel like it belonged together, and I really like where it ended up.
I like it, man.
Thank you.
I mean, those obviously stick out, and you played a couple songs for us.
I did.
A couple of new songs.
Yes.
You just released something called Somewhere to Go, and then you have King of Everything. And so this seems like it's culminating into something larger, maybe as a project.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of thematic works. Like, all of my favorite albums and pieces of music it's always like full project stories with skits and like all of that. Because I think, like, you know, create a moment, like create something that people can look at and be like, oh my God, like that's a real story all the way through. And I mean, the songs that we've kind of accumulated and put together, I've always just been kind of every single thing that's gone through my brain since I got here. And it's not like, this one isn't like the theme album. I have a dream one day of doing a Kendrick Lamar to Pimp a Butterfly theme album from start to finish, skits, that's a dream of mine. But with this one, it is really like kind of a biography of a specific section of my life, and it's the way that I plan on moving past where I am now into the next phase of my life through writing. So I've written places I've been, places I am now, and places that I think I'm gonna end up towards the end. And Somewhere to Go felt really nice. Somewhere to Go was one of the first songs that we had made that me and two of my managers were like, oh, this sounds like this is the direction that we're going. And it was kind of like a unanimous, like, we love this song. And same with Formalize Me. And so I felt really good about that. And then King of Everything was actually a super recent one. And wrote it, I think I was signed at this point. And so I wrote the song that morning before I had a session coming up, and I like to write my songs before I go into sessions so I can be like, what do you think? And I wrote that song the morning before in probably like 30 minutes, even though it took me realistically like years to write. But I wrote it in like 30 minutes, and I took it in and I played it, and we kept it like exactly how it was. And I think we just all, I mean, everyone at the label and me and the management team just kind of fell in love with the story that it was telling. And I mean, we just shot a music video for it on Tuesday.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
And the story is?
The story of the song is I started like playing professional gigs when I was 13. And so for the past, I'm 19 now, so for the past like 6 years of my life, I have like seen where I want to end up at, you know, like I've seen like, this is the end goal, this is the person that I want to be, this is the place I want to land. And it's always kind of pushed me to consistently better myself. Like, I'm always singing, I'm always playing, I'm always writing. I try to write a song a day. I've been slacking on it recently because we've been doing stuff, but still, I really try to do that. And I think it's a great mindset to have, but also without doing it within moderation is very, very unhealthy, because I find myself comparing myself to what other people are doing and other people, their careers and the choices that they make and things like that. And, you know, sometimes I'm like, I remember I was like, oh my God, why haven't I made a song like Guillotine by John Bellion? Why haven't I done that? And then it was like, oh, and like I was 14 when I was saying that, and he's like 25. And I was like, you know? And so I compare myself a lot. Like it's so easy to see what someone else is doing when they're doing great and say like, I want that. What am I doing wrong? But I don't think that you're necessarily doing anything wrong. It's a different life, moving at a different pace, doing different things. And so this song was kind of about that thought process of not being able to give myself like any slack, you know, and saying like, you know, it's fine that we're here, you know, we're moving at the right speed for us. And I was like, no, wrong. I want to be there now. And that's what the whole song is about, wanting to be constantly better than the person I am. I could better myself, but I want to be better than that. And it's something that I'm still struggling with and probably will struggle with for the rest of my life. Like it's human condition to want to be better, you know, and I think it's great. But like writing the song was therapeutic because it kind of let me know like, oh, it's bad. Like I need to like hone this in and really find ways to healthily say like, it's fine. Like we're getting there, you know? And I was kind of happy. The first 3 singles are, I mean, my Somewhere to Go isn't too much, but they're heavy, you know? And we got fun songs on a hypothetical project that's coming.
Oh, wow.
And so, especially with the next singles and stuff that are coming out, we got fun songs that are less of a oh my God, I have to think about what is, you know? I like fun too. So, yeah, and I'll be playing those songs on tour, so.
Your big tour with Almost Monday.
Yes.
And this is like the first big shebang for you.
I'm so excited. Like, I spent 3 years like acting and doing a lot of behind the scenes, like song creation and meetings with incredible people like lawyers and PR team and record labels and stuff like that, and doing all the behind the scenes work. And now I can like get back to what I've been doing. But this time it's different because it's my stuff, which is so cool. And I'm working with like the most talented band I've ever seen. And we're gonna go and we're gonna play a bunch of songs, most of them unwritten. Unreleased.
Wow.
I haven't written. I'm freestyling on stage.
I was gonna say
unreleased songs.
What a talent! You're gonna,
dude. You know,
live
I'm like,
looping and everything.
My name is Adrian, and I'm here to, you know, it's all of that. But we're gonna be getting back to what I love about this in the first place, which is going and connecting with people. And like, I mean, there's a group of people that have been listening to me for like a year and a half now. And my first song came out 2 months ago. And that means everything to me. Like people that I swear have clipped videos from TikTok and listened to them over and over, like they're released songs, like 15 to 30 second snippets. Like people text me and they're like, Adrian, I got a tattoo of this song that you sang on TikTok. And I'm like, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Like,
see, you have a good attitude. I would say that's creepy.
Well, you know, here's the thing. I want that. I want that 100% because I think the fact that my music is inspiring people enough that they say this lyric means this much to me.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna ink myself with it. That means everything. Because, you know, and here's the thing. And do this when I say this. People DM me on Instagram and they'll be like, Adrian, I love this lyric in this song. Would you mind writing it out in your handwriting and then I can take it to a tattoo person and get it tattooed? I say yes every time. Hey man, ask me. I'll do it. I'll see your DM and I'll respond.
That is no problem.
I'll do it every time. And
so you're gonna be bombarded at these shows.
I don't mind. I don't mind, man. I think it's so beautiful. Somebody got a Somewhere to Go tattoo probably 4 months after I made Somewhere to Go, which for reference was like a year and a half before it came out. Like people have been plotting on this stuff for a minute. I remember being in a session to finish the song, and I was talking to the 2 amazing dudes that helped me do the song, Tony Ferrari and Dan Glazer, and I was like, dude, someone got a tattoo. And I showed them and they're like, oh my God, like that's crazy. And so it's just like, I feel like I'm going into releasing and performing and doing all of this feeling very loved and accepted already for like, I don't know, people like the stuff, which I never dreamed of. It's pretty crazy. Like, you know, you have all of these like, oh man, I hope people like it and I hope people do this. But I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and like, I put out songs and it shocks me that people listen to them. Like when Formalize Me had like 100 and something thousand streams on Spotify, I was like, people listen to the song? Other than like me and my parents and the people we texted it to. You know, like, it's crazy. I don't know. It's a dream come true. And like, King of Everything is going to be interesting. It's the first song that we're releasing that no one's heard before. I've made sure to try to keep it off of social media. And so I'm excited. But also, I don't want to say nervous because I love the song. And I really make the music because I love it. And it makes me understand myself. Like, that's the reason I make it. But I also really do hope people like it. Because, dude, like, you know.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
I enjoy it. I'm going to have the whole thing tattooed on my body. Please, just
and then I'll write it.
Oh, really?
I'll write it out for you.
Okay, and then on top of it, just to show you my loyalty, we're going to take a selfie, and I'm going to have that inked on my back.
Okay. All right. He said it here. Said it here.
Still doesn't creep you out?
No, I'm with it.
You welcome it?
I welcome it.
All right.
Open arms, dude. Open arms, dude.
Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you for having me. This was fantastic.
I really am looking forward to what you have coming up, this project, the tour, the whole shebang.
Yes.
And great to meet you.
Great to meet you too.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
And by the way, happy 20th.
Thank you. I turned 20 January 4th.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yo, that's crazy. Going on tour as a 20-year-old.
That's right.
Wild. No more teenager.
No.
Speaking of, come to the tour.
That's right.
Come to the tour. Please go to the tour. Go to the tour.
Adrian Lyles, right here on B-Sides.